there, welcome back to my channel. I have some super exciting news to share. I got promoted! I am so excited about it, and I am actually really excited to share some tips with you so that you can learn how to earn a promotion too. If this sounds interesting to you, this is one of the many topics I'll be talking about in the goals section of my God Goals in Grad School channel. So if any of this sounds really interesting to you, this is a great time to subscribe because I really enjoy growing what I like to call the Brilliant AF crew. We are creating light, whether it's through God, whether it's achieving our goals, or using our grad school degrees to make the world a better place. So if you are interested, subscribe. As I said before, this is a part of the goals pillar of my channel, and I think I'm going to have a lot of different videos on surviving the corporate landscape if that's what you're interested in. And honestly, even if you're not in a pseudo corporate environment, I do think that the kind of information that I'm going to be sharing through these videos really are relevant to organizations with humans in it. So take that as an invitation for you to join me on this journey, ask me questions, and I am excited to start bringing not only advice based on the experience that I've had in corporate, but also some advice backed by research. Research is going to play a huge part in my life in the future, so I want to make sure that I am sharing what I learn when I learn it. So let's go and talk about it. I know, I'm really excited. I'm really happy. It's actually kind of crazy. It's actually been, now that it's 2020, it's been 10 years since I graduated from good old Pepperdine University. 10 years! Whoa, that is pretty cool. I mean, in that time, I have worked in a lot of different organizations. I worked at Pepperdine. I was able to work at Starbucks, not in corporate, but as a partner at a store. I still know how to make the caramel macchiato pattern, and I also always judge baristas when they don't do it correctly. There's recipe cards! But I digress. I've been able to work in huge organizations like Google and small startups as well. So I really do believe that this promotion that I just recently earned is the result of the culmination of experiences from the past 10 years, including my time at the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business. So thanks, Ross. I'm going to be sharing some advice based on my working experience and a lot of really great things that I've learned during my time at the University of Michigan. I think that those combined have really helped me accelerate my career in ways that I did not think was possible before business school. First thing that I think is really critical when it comes to advancing in an organization is to know the bar. I've said this before, I've been a part of this group called MLT, and one of the huge key tenets about MLT is knowing the bar so you know how to surpass it. Not a lot of people can get away with being mediocre. So it's just gonna be really important for you to just understand what the expectations are of you. And how do you do that? Well, first, it's to understand what the organization's goal is, and then start thinking about what your role is and helping advance those objectives that your organization has. I think that's really important. A lot of times at least I felt that I'm just doing work and I don't really see how I'm helping the big picture. And that really is a recipe for getting disillusioned and losing motivation. So I think it's really important for you to start understanding, how do you help the organization grow and meet its objectives? Another thing you can do is ask your manager. Make sure that you know what your manager likes. Make sure that you know what your manager expects of you so that you can not only deliver that, but deliver more. That leads me to my second point. One of the things that you can do to make sure that you are putting yourself in the best position for a promotion is to make your manager's life easier. whatever that means, do it, because that is how you really start creating value for yourself within the organization. That really looks like anticipating your manager's needs, thinking one step ahead so that you can make sure that you get that project done or get that task done so that that's something that the manager doesn't need to do. I've actually been able to have a lot of different managers over the course of my career. I mean, it's still kind of early. I'm very far away from retirement, according to Vanguard. But it's important to kind of understand what your manager's style is, right? You know, sometimes there are the micromanagey types who have, you know, really big control issues, so you don't want to overstep your bounds per se. But even in those situations, there are definitely ways for you to try to figure out how you can go above and beyond and make some important moves for you in your career. The next tip I have for you when it comes to earning a promotion is to ask questions. I can't tell you enough how it's just really interesting that a lot of people take a lot of things at face value. And what I mean by that is when you get a task and you don't ask questions, you just do it. It's great to execute well. That's something that's really important, but you want to make sure that you're asking questions so that you understand the context, understand the goals, and understand what this task is supposed to accomplish in the long run. I think that when we don't do that, we start to create things in isolation and in a vacuum, and I really do think that that diminishes the power that the outcome could have. I had this really cool class at Ross where we were expected to think as the CEO, and we had to try to figure out ways to understand how our decisions were going to affect the entire organization, whether it's the accounting measures, whether it's the culture, whether it's the actual incentive structures and things like that. And I remember this one particular lesson that I'll never forget because it was executed in a way that was just pretty unforgettable. We had a row of students in the front of the classroom to kind of signify a factory. And when we were going through the case and we were trying to figure out what to do with this factory, every single time that we made a decision or had proposed a scenario, then the entire class had to go and simulate going to the factory. And the way we did it is that we all went and gave high fives to the row of students who were standing in the front. And we had to do that several times throughout the entire class. And what that signified is that you can't just make decisions in a bubble. You have to go down to the factory. You have to go see how that decision affects the people who are working on the product from day to day. And that extends to everything. Every kind of decision that you're going to make when you're working for an organization with humans requires talking to the humans, talking to the people who are going to be affected, and really making sure that you are addressing some blind spots that are inevitable. There's no one who knows every single piece of an organization. I don't even think a CEO does, especially at an organization as big as the one I'm at now. It's ginormous. It's 500 million people. So there are really great benefits to be captured by just simply asking questions. And here are some questions that are always good to ask. Number one, what are we trying to accomplish? Admittedly, sometimes people are going through the motions and people are just saying, hey, we need to do this because the contract said we need to do this. And of course, because the contract said so is a great answer. But another question to ask on top of that is, what are we trying to accomplish? Because there are a lot of things that you can accomplish based on one deliverable. You can be helping your client achieve something. You can be helping your client achieve something, and you might want to position yourself as a trusted advisor. There are a lot of layers to the things that we do in organizations, And the more you can understand the layers, the better you can deliver, because you understand the whole picture and you're able to add contributions to help make the outcomes even better. The next tip I have for you is to ask for help. Don't be a hero. It's really important to understand where you're falling short and try to find the people in your support system who can really help you through. I had tremendous amounts of help when it came to my promotion journey, and it made a world of difference for me to go to people 1, 2 to 4 levels above me to be able to help solve a problem that I felt I was at my wit's end. I do think that asking for help is a characteristic of a strong leader, because that means that you're self-aware and you know that you need a little bit of extra power to help you get to that next level. So I strongly believe that whenever you feel like you're in trouble or you're making a mistake, it's way better to ask for help than it is to try to solve it on your own. And the sooner that you realize you need help, the better, because you don't want to go too far down a path without having some kind of help or validation. Another tip I have for you when it comes to getting promoted is to help others. At least in our firm, it's just really important for you to be what we call a people leader as well as a client leader. So it's something that has really stuck with me, because I think that extends across organizations. You don't just have to be a consultant to be valued for the contributions you make to other people. The more that you can help people and the more that you can establish your brand as someone who is reliable and someone who's knowledgeable about a certain offering or task or something like that, the better, because you're going to be able to establish yourself as someone who can be relied on, someone who is able to help take the task to the next level, someone who is strategic and someone who can really help grow a team. Those are all the great things to be known for. The more that you can help others, the more that it helps you. I love the reciprocal nature of that. That's not why you should help people, but it's a wonderful, wonderful side benefit of helping others. It actually helps others accomplish their goals, and it helps establish your brand as someone people can count on. The next tip that I have for you is to ask for feedback. Feedback can be a very scary word for some people, but I just want to let you know that it is one of the best things that you can do for yourself in your career. Feedback helps you understand where you are at, how you are performing, and how you can actually improve that. You don't want to wait until your performance review to get the feedback. That's actually the worst time, because at that time, that's when all the decisions have already been made. You want to be proactive with your feedback. You have to ask for it during off-peak times. You have to make time for it. It's because a lot of times managers don't have a lot of time, but you need to make time, because that's how you can become better. When you ask for feedback, make sure that you are keeping an open mind, don't be defensive, and just make sure that you just have a gracious mindset. Sometimes the best thing to say is just thank you, and then start thinking about what that means and how you either keep doing what you're doing that's good, or change your approach so that you can kind of mitigate some of the pitfalls that your manager or your peer has given you feedback on. So like I said, when you're asking for feedback, don't be defensive, take it, write it down, and take some time to start thinking about what you can do with that feedback. Sometimes people aren't as comfortable giving you feedback, and that's something to be aware of. Sometimes people give you some pretty harsh feedback that may or may not be warranted. Doesn't matter. All feedback can at least be used to reflect on. I remember personally, I got feedback from a person that I completely didn't agree with, but I really wanted to understand where that person was coming from when they said that. And it took me some time. It took me talking to some other people about what that could have meant. And I did schedule time with that person to dive deeper because I let that person know. I was pretty surprised about what you said, and I was thinking that maybe you said it because of this. And that was a really valuable meeting because I was able to not only strengthen the relationship I had with that person, but also clear some things up and also help me understand how I can best position myself so that no one would ever get that impression of me again. So I just really do think that even if it's the worst feedback in the world, you can do something with it. You can use it to be better, and you can use it to help actually strengthen your relationships with other people as well. Feedback. Ask for it, not just during the performance cycle. The last tip I have for you in order to earn a promotion is to keep track of your successes. No one is going to do that for you, and I promise you, you will need to be able to point to your results when it comes to performance time. One tip I have for you in order to keep track of your successes is to create a folder in your email of choice, whether it's Gmail or Outlook. Create a folder. I like to call mine winning, because every time you get an email from someone who says, "Oh, Ashley, that was a really great job," or you got an email from a client that said, "Hey, thanks for your help. You helped us achieve this." Keep that in your winning email folder, because that's going to be something that you're going to need to speak to when it comes to performance time. It's very hard to think about those things at the top of your head. So let technology do some of the work for you. Keep track of it, put it in the folder, and then when it comes time to talk about your performance, you will have a folder full of your greatest hits to be able to speak about. Those are the tips I have for you when it comes to earning a promotion. They worked for me. They're research backed, they're experience backed. I'm super excited about it, and I want to know, what is the tip that's going to be hardest for you to implement? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any tips to add on to it, add them in the comments below as well. I didn't give you the whole entire encyclopedia of how to get promoted. I gave you some tips that worked for me, and there are so much more. Now that you're a part of the Brilliant AF crew because you subscribed, help grow it. Let's help grow each other, and let's help build each other up so that we can all achieve what we were meant to achieve. If this video was helpful for you, please give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.